Okay, good morning, namaste. My name is Hariharan Iyer and I am the co-author for Eves Against the Odds, Volume 2, Volume 1 also, and I'm also the host for this session, for this little meeting we are having today. So, Bhavesh Kothari, my co-author, is making me work very hard. He made me write the book and is also now making me host all the sessions. So, that's being a smart entrepreneur and I am a hard-working entrepreneur. Yeah, okay. So, it's a pleasure to be in Pune. It's a city I have been visiting since childhood and it's an amazing campus. So, thanks to Parag sir and Pooja for hosting us here. And it's an amazing place. The first thing I told Ashutosh when I entered the campus was, I started my career as a journalist, and for 6 years I was a journalist, though I had a passion for training. So the one thing as a journalist I missed a lot was this academic environment, the classroom, the trainer, the training, the learning process. And that motivated me to quit journalism and finally take to training as my profession. And today, as an entrepreneur, running my own training organization. So it's been a fantastic journey. First of all, thank you so much to all of you for being with us today. So let's do a little morning icebreaker before we get started. Yeah. So the trainer and me never allows me to do anything outside that zone. So can I request all of you to please stand up? Yeah. Can I request all of you to please stand up? Sorry to make Parag sir also stand up. So what I need you to now do is look at the person to your right and to the person to your left and do a good morning and a namaste loudly. And some of them might have not done it with their heart, they might have done it with their mind. So ask them, let's do it one more time with greater energy. Yeah? Good morning. Good morning. Now all the people in the front rows, they can't see you. So can you please turn around and say hi and namaste to everybody. Excellent. Wonderful. That's a very good start. Thank you so much. Please take your seats. And I do not promise that I will not make you get up again. Okay? So, fabulous. So how are you all feeling this morning? It's wonderful to see so many students out there. And the first thing I asked Ashutosh when I walked in is, what is that I need to do to be a faculty here? Yeah, so should I send my profile across? Should I describe myself? Should I do an audition? Should I do a demo session? What do you want?
The king is sitting there.
But I hope you don't ask me to enroll for the course first. That's the criteria. That's the criteria. That's the criteria. And it's such a delight that I get to meet Pooja now finally, who's part of our book. And it's so amazing to have all the other ladies with us here, Payal, Dr. Divya Jaitley, Shrida, I know you. Roli and Moitri are all part of our book. Roli and Moitri from Volume 1, who set the base and who set the tone for us. So we're going to have a wonderful morning today. We're going to and a bit of afternoon once we cross 12 o'clock. Yeah. And I'm told that Ashutosh is serving some snacks and tea also. So that might keep you really interested. What's coming at the end? Okay. So what we have for you, of course, is the big moment that will come a little later, which is the unveiling of the book. And we'll have a wonderful panel discussion. We'll also get to hear from Parag sir. That will be, I think, something I am personally looking forward to hearing from an institution like him. And of course, we'll get to hear from the ladies. And what I'm looking forward to is also some audience questions. That would be wonderful. It will really spice up the session for us. So I'm looking forward to that. And we also have a gentleman outside who will be capturing some of your sound bites. So during the break, please go there and please share your experience and just give your. There he is, Shubham. Yeah. So there he is. Yeah. So Shubham, I did your job. I did not forget. Okay, now I would let's get started. I would like to invite our chief guest, Parag sir, and our guest of honor, Pujaji, along with Meenal Kothari, Bhavesh Kothari, and I will also join for the lamp lighting. Okay, so we're going to have the chief guest address after this, and I think it almost sounds very inappropriate to come to his institution and introduce him. Yeah? So we all know the kind of work that sir has been doing, and we all know the kind of institution that how he has set up the MIDAS Entrepreneurship Institute along the Flame University and so many other accolades that he has. So instead of me giving a detailed introduction about Parag sir, I thought, sir, we will introduce a little bit about what we are going to do. So we will share with you what is Millennium Divas, who is Bhavesh Kothari, who is Hariharan Iyer, and who are these wonderful ladies who have been featured in the book. So Millennium Divas is a community for women entrepreneurs, a global community for women entrepreneurs. And I have been a bit of a seasoned author, and so I don't know how many people read my books, but I definitely never shy of writing them. So, but I'm a seasoned author. I've authored 9 books so far. So please clap for me. This is called narcissism at its absolute best. Yeah. So, and Bhavesh Kothari and we have now partnered for these 2 books, which is now becoming a brand and a series. So, sir, Bhavesh Kothari runs along with his wife. They run the Millennium Divas Women Entrepreneurs Community. I run a training organization, Hariharan School of Success Education, HSSE. And we both have collaborated for the book because I have a passion for writing. And Bhavesh also has a passion for sharing his ideas through thought and word. So that's how we have come together, and we brought out Eves Against the Odds. Stories of 25 women entrepreneurs, volume 1 we released last year. And we have just released yesterday formally in Mumbai as the first of our many releases. We're like a little web series right now. So there is a season 1 that happened, there's a season 2 that has started, and the season 2 has at least 4 or 5 episodes. So we're doing good on that front. So and this features women entrepreneurs who are doing some absolutely amazing work. Some of them you will meet them today. But we are so proud to say that in 2 volumes we have covered the stories of 50 women entrepreneurs. And we are now even more encouraged to write more about women than men. Yeah. So we seem to we're getting a lot of respect from the women community. Very difficult to get men to respect us. So we thought we'll focus on women entrepreneurs. So see, if I crack a joke, I expect that you should laugh. And if you don't understand that it's a joke, I will tell you it wasn't. So I'm just trying to make the mood very light because all of you look so serious when you entered the room. As if I don't know what you were expecting. So be happy and cheerful. Now, can we all please rise and give a standing applause and welcome Parag sir for his welcome.
guests over here. The origin of the word entrepreneur is from the Sanskrit word entrepreneur. That's not something that is very well known to people. I thought I might begin my talk by giving you some insight into the word entrepreneur. I also want to tell you a story. It happened sometime in 2007, 15 years back. I got one message in 2021, almost after 14 years. A man messaged me saying that, Parag sir, आपने मुझे पहचाना क्या? Have you recognized me? I said, of course I remember you. He said, who am I? I said, you are Mr. Jaitawar. So, he said, आपको याद है? I said, आप बिल्कुल याद है. So I was flooded with memories of his daughter. But coming a petticoat and a blouse, she was from a village, somewhere in deep inside of Rajasthan. And the father walked in with his daughter. And he saluted me. He said, sir, I am a ordinary police constable in a village in Rajasthan. And I brought my daughter to study with you. So I told him, I said, leave the girl alone with me. He went out. I asked her, you don't even know English. You don't know how to dress. All these kids are spoiled rich, fat brats of their parents. How are you going to cope up with it? He said, leave that to me, sir, I'll manage. I managed her. I called the father and I said, why have you brought me here? He said, in my village, every time a girl child is born, she is literally drowned in milk to be killed. I fought with my family and I said, you're not going to do this to my daughter. And here I have brought you. 14 years later, this man writes to me, said that just because you gave her full scholarship, today she works in Merrill Lynch. And she draws a salary of almost $300,000, works in Japan, and she's doing very well for us. I think that was the most gratifying moment of my life, as far as I am concerned. If I could change one life, I think my life was made. Also, there is a girl called Bhagyashree Gandhi. She has 317 kids. She was a MBA HR from Pune University. She has 317 kids studying under her, along with her own son. She has 37 adults working with her. And she has 48 cows and 1,000 birds. And she is educating 317 kids by sending a car at her own cost to pick them up. She doesn't charge them a rupee. She gives them food. She helps them learn agriculture. And she runs the Abhyuday Global Village School in a place near Nagpur, in a small village near Nagpur. And she picks up these kids from all the surrounding villages. Many of them come from very battered families. And she insists that girl child should be as much possible as being educated. So I must urge you that these are the kind of people you must also meet. There are more women in rural areas than there are in urban areas who are doing human service to ladies all over the country. My dream is to create 10,000 entrepreneurs who should employ 500 people each. These 500 people will take care of 4 people's health, welfare and education. And I want to impact 2 crore Indian lives before I pass away from this planet. That's my big dream. And as part of this dream, I have my 14 students over here who have joined this institute, a wonderful bunch of kids willing to learn. I push them to the wall, I really make them work so hard, they are willing to take it on. And one thing I worry about is that we don't get enough girls joining the entrepreneurship program. I hope your book is again short. And any girl recommended by you will be happy to give them a full scholarship if she is deserving. So I would suggest that please recommend good girls who have the fire in their belly, who may not have the resources available. Because I don't believe that resources are essential for becoming a successful entrepreneur. In fact, lesser the resources, the more successful you are likely to be. We believe in the theory of effectuation. Incidentally, I think there is a reversal of gender bias happening slowly. Men are getting marginalized and women are really coming on the forefront. Incidentally, I was reading up something about why the Indian CEOs are becoming CEOs of such large multinationals, from Facebook to Microsoft and from PepsiCo to Twitter. Why they are all Indians are becoming CEOs. So there are two things that are common. One thing that was common was they all came from unbroken families. Divorce rate in India is 2%. It's 49% in the US. The second reason was humility. See, if you are humble, it doesn't make you weak. So remember that it's very important to be humble in life. It's very important to give people their space and hear them out. Right? I want to end this talk by a couplet from Ghalib. And he says, रंज से कुगर हुआ इंसान तो मिट जाता है रंज, रंज से कुगर हुआ इंसान तो मिट जाता है रंज, मुश्किलें मुझ पर पड़ी इतनी कि आसान हो गई. That is the life of an entrepreneur. रंज से कुगर यानी when you get लाहौल हाल हो जाता है आदमी जब दर्द से. रंज से कुगर हुआ इंसान तो मिट जाता है रंज. When you get too much pain, you become free of pain. मुश्किलें मुझ पर पड़ी इतनी कि आसान हो गई. I was disordered with so many troubles that life became easy for me. I think that is the life of an entrepreneur. It's never one big climax as we are used to seeing in fiction and movies. It's a series of tragedies every day. If you are lucky on a certain day, you might have a comedy at the end of the day. So one has to learn to live with these tragedies, learn to live with ambiguity, learn to live alone, have self-belief, and most importantly, be humble in life. I remember a book written by Og Mandino. It's called The Greatest Salesman in the World. In that last vow of success, he says, Lord, in failure keep my faith, and in success keep my humility. And I think that's a mantra all of us have to keep with ourselves. And in failure we have to keep faith, and in success we have to maintain our humility. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much, sir, for very crisp but very inspiring words. And what is amazing is the clarity of thought in terms of how many lives to be impacted, what's the journey, what's the process, what's the path. एक शेयर मैं भी सुनाना चाहूँगा सर, as a tribute to the kind of work that's happening at MIDAS. And I'm sure you have faced a lot of odds yourself through this whole process. It's never easy to do such amazing work over a long period of time. So किसी ने ये कहा है, अगर आप लोग भी साथ देंगे, कुछ साथ करेंगे तो बहुत. Thank you. I thought students are more enthusiastic, right? So, yeah. Okay. So हाथों की लकीरों पर कभी विश्वास नहीं करना. हाथों की लकीरों पर कभी विश्वास नहीं करना, क्योंकि तकदीर तो उनकी भी होती है जिनके हाथ नहीं होते. उनकी भी होती है जिनके हाथ नहीं होते. So thank you very much, sir, once again. And on that note, we will now move towards engaging and inviting some amazing women who are an epitome of this little shairi that I just shared with you. That they have never looked at, they have redefined the fate by themselves through their hard work and through their self-belief. You know, it's not, and it is not written on anybody's head that you will be successful or not. It's for you to do your best. So, with a big round of applause, first of all, can we please invite Ms. Pooja Shah, Managing Director, MIDAS School of Entrepreneurship. Each one of these ladies whom I'm going to be inviting now for a panel discussion they are all featured in our 2 volumes, Eves Against Odds. Yeah, so congratulations for being there, and thank you so much for that. We all know that Pooja plays such a critical role in the development of MIDAS, and she is the backbone, and she is the one who's the driving force. Despite so many odds, I'm sure you might have faced in your own journey, but you are able to put it all together so beautifully. Thank you so much for doing what you are doing and for being a part of the Eves Against the Odds journey.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Somebody I know very well since 10:15 today. Can I please invite Ms. Shrita Raheja, founder of What I would be requesting all the ladies is, rather than me reading out a profile, if you could give your own short profile when the panel discussion, before the panel discussion starts. Shrita, can you please occupy your seat? Somebody who's more of a friend now, and not just somebody who's featured in the book, the founder and CEO of Web Techie, Roli Pandey. And also her friend and co-partner, co-owner is also our friend. So can I request Moitri Goswami to please join me? And would like to acknowledge here the amazing contribution that these two ladies have done for us for the Eves Against the Odds journey. They set up a beautiful website for us, and they are consistently updating, and all they've done it purely out of their love and affection for us, and not for any monetary consideration. So thanks a lot for doing that, for that gesture. Now I want to call upon a very dynamic personality. Dr. Divya Jetli, who is of Corporate Communications Private Limited. So I think a few things to be learned from you in terms of communication and presenting yourself. So thank you so much.
I'm learning from you.
Thank you. And then we have a lifestyle creator who runs the Revive store, Ms. Payal Shankar. One more very dynamic lady. And so I would request that each one of you could just talk a little briefly about yourself, and then the moderator can take it up.
So I'm pretty loud being a teacher. Half of my students are here, so they know what I've been up to. So I'm going to probably look at you guys and say that I started my journey as an entrepreneur probably because I was not academically doing very well. My dad gave me this opportunity to go and work within a chain of photo labs that we owned in Pune at that particular time. And I think I learned humility from ground up, and coming from a family that encouraged women to, I probably got more freedom than my brother did, and I was encouraged more than my brother was, and I'm very lucky and honored to be his daughter. Thereafter, I think the whole aspect of studying abroad, I did my master's in entrepreneurship, came back.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
You can use the mic just for the camera, please.
Sorry. So I came back and I joined the Brave University. Very honestly, it was not something that was offered to me on a plate, since he was the founder chairman, but he made me go through all the rigmarole. I remember even my final, payout or what my salary would be was decided after I got my degree in my hand, and that was epic. So I did climb up the ladder, joined as program manager, and I think by the age of 23, I was the dean of student activities. And I think Blame for me was an exposure that gave me a lot of intellectual stimulation, and I learned a lot through minds that were very beautiful, and that's where my love for academics came through. And thereafter, because I was someone who loved entrepreneurship, my father encouraged me, and we started MIDAS together in 2013. Till date, we've trained more than 250 entrepreneurs, and we offer a post-graduation diploma in entrepreneurship. We collaborated with Vishwakarma University, and that's what my journey has been. Of course, there have been a lot of personal triumphs, but today is a day to celebrate all the good things, something that I will never forget from what I read in your story, that never forget to celebrate your small wins with people who love and admire you. So that's me for you guys, and my students have to clap the loudest right now.
It's a tough call to come after you and talk to hold my own, but thank you for acknowledging something that I said and I believe in. I'm Dr. Divya Jetty. It's an honor to be sitting with achievers here. Another thing which I always believe is achievers are first believers. And my profile is there to everybody to see. What I'm going to share today as part of my introduction is I've been working from an age of 19. After my Miss India finalist crowning glory, I was a model, but at the same time, I was an event marketing consultant. I hail from a defense background where my mother has been an academician throughout her life. And the discipline and the ability to continuously learn and grow, the Kaizen philosophy of life, has been probably given to me in my genes. That kept me going. And I think while I kept getting my professional successes, my personal life has been, I would say, full of debris on the field. But one thing which I'll tell you that as an entrepreneur, I've personally experienced that your emotional hurts, your personal life does pull you back. They set you back, especially if you're a woman. But at the same time, you have to remember that every time you hit the bottom, the only way you can go is to the top. So always take a breath. Sometimes to move forward, you have to pause, consolidate, take 2 steps back. And that's exactly what I've done through my entire career, making sure that every milestone that I accomplish is built on the foundation of the inner dimension of leadership, that is connected thinking. And I'm going to leave you all with a thought: continuously give back. Parag sir is an epitome of giving back to the society. Pooja follows suit. From a young age of 22, I've been running my own NGO. I've been spearheading it in Jaipur, Rajasthan. I've been sponsoring a lot of girl child from marginalized communities to be educated and achieve their own careers. So it doesn't matter big or small. In small little ways, come forward, support. And to end this introduction, I would leave you all with a belief that gets summarized in a quote, and that is, there will never be another now. I will make the most of today. There will never be another me. I will make the most of myself. That's how you all have to believe in and keep moving forward. Thank you.
This is Shweta. Hi, I'm Shweta, an interior designer. Started at a very early stage in my life, being a sibling to two daughters of my parents. So was pushed into the Samjhauta Express of marriage very early. So yeah, I began with that and educated myself after my marriage, and professional interior designer, a passionist. Okay, so that's what brings me to my journey here. I paid for my course with working with my sir itself, so there was no money backup as such. So I started there, and yeah, it's about a 27-year journey as of now. A good entrepreneur that I call myself as, and facing all challenges. I mean, coming from a very poor background to making myself stand somewhere all by myself without any support. So I'm in 3 cheers for myself always. And coming back to the journey of challenges, yes, every time it is like, something that pulls me down, but then that's what takes me ahead. So, like, getting into an early marriage, then breaking up, losing my husband, bringing up a visually challenged child, and, giving him the best education in Pune with the Bishop School of Pune and Symbiosis. So he stands tall with a minimalistic vision, but then I have been his vision too. So again, 3 cheers to myself. I am a good entrepreneur, and I would really wish success to everyone who is here. And plan your journey and keep it at the best vision is what I say, and say you will always grow. Nothing pulls you behind. Yes, thank you.
Very good morning to everybody. It's first and foremost a pleasure and an overwhelming moment for me to be here today. I have never thought or believed of myself as an achiever or somebody who can, be popular or do things where people would take notice of me. I also come from an army background like Divya, so having led that privileged life, I often lived my life very carelessly, as I would like to add, because I always felt that, I'll have my parents to back me up and it's a good life, nothing can go wrong and things like that. Got married really early, and I'm just really thankful for that decision because that's where my husband is, and he's been my biggest supporter and strength today. I genuinely feel I'm here today because of him, because the way he has pushed me. My dad loved me to the core. He's no longer alive, but the way he has pushed me, and he has always encouraged me to do things my way, that's the reason probably I'm the oldest entrepreneur here. But I would just like to say that the moment is now. Don't be like me and take life too jokingly and casually. At 40, I started my bootstrap startup, and I did not know where I was headed. Honestly, I'm going to be 42 in less than 2 months, but I still don't know where I'm headed. But one thing I know is that I took that call, I started that journey, and I think I am in a much better space today. After having worked for so many years with corporates, built my experience, studied, not made use of it, casually did jobs, I think the feeling and the gratifying sense that an entrepreneur gives you is uncomparable. That feeling of doing your own thing, the long hours that you put in, there is no match to it. And then when you have a support system like that who understands that weekends are not going to be made available to my child, to my husband, I'm constantly working. We are never going to have hot food because I'm busy taking pictures as an entrepreneur. I'm also a digital creator. I've been a lifestyle creator for the last 8 years and worked with over 500 local and global brands. And I have never been affiliated with any agency. So it's like me solo against the world, literally, and me solo with my, diverse personality of not being so focused. But today, I think this is validation, this is gratification when I sit here and I can speak to people and tell them that don't be like me, but take that call a lot earlier in life and be the entrepreneur that you want to be. The moment is now, like India rightly said. One life is what my dad would say to me. Live it to the fullest, to what makes you happy. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rolly Pandey. When I completed my MBA 10 years back, the only aim I had was to have a good corporate job, live a secure life and everything. But 1 year down the line, I realized that it's something that's not for me because I think I have something like a monkey brain, so you cannot sit and do what others tell you to do, and you have a creativity of your own, and my brain keeps on jumping from there. And the creativity is when you go into corporate life is scaled like anything, and they don't even like one line you write. augmented reality, it was like people were saying we are crazy, it won't even evolve. And that monkey brain problem, so we started experimenting with augmented reality, and I'm happy to share that 6 years down the line, we are now my company G8 is a partner for VIT BTech Honors in Augmented Reality and Virtual Reality. So we were called crazy because of a monkey brain. Today there are students who want to take plunge in the same technology that was no more said to be evolving back then. And because of our urge for technology, 2 years back, an entrepreneur came up to us and said, "Oh, you do good website and you have got good video or presentation for your own startup." So that's when we wanted money to put into research for augmented reality and stuff. So we started WebTechie, which is our another company. From there, we started catering to our friends. 1,000, 2,000 students, we started giving everything for free and stuff like that. And the word of mouth was such it was such a domino effect that was created that 2 years down the line, we have catered to more than 300 projects as a web tech company. Launching a web tech company in 2019 and getting that number of clients is something I only cannot do, because there are Infosys who are providing so many CRMs and so many kind of softwares, and we now have a mastery softwares and websites, digital marketing. So that's my journey today.
So first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm not a part of any of the books, but Bhavesh asked me to moderate the panel, and
You're part of volume 1. Rolly has
Rolly is a part of volume 1,
dedicated her journey
and
to you.
I'm always happy to support her. So that's a story for another day. But Bhavesh told me that I should be interacting with a panel of lively female founders, and it was a great opportunity for me to be talking to those females who are actually making a dent in the universe. And considering the fact that women entrepreneurs face a lot of challenges, and the statistics around women entrepreneurship are quite grim till date, still these females are doing lovely work, and they are making a dent, and they are trying to create an impact out on their own. And a lot of them have already started, and they started at a very early age, and it's a mix basically. Some have started later also. So kudos to that also, because it takes a lot of guts to start at a later age, because you already have a settled life, and then suddenly if you have to take the plunge, you need at least some backing, or at least some support, and you need your own guts as well. So I'm Manchi Goswami. My story began as a doctor. So I'm from a medical college. So in the final year, I realized that this is not for me, because it was a very depressing profession. Seeing dead bodies, blood, being in the morgue, and then seeing accidents, and believe me, you have practical blackouts when you are out there seeing those cases. So in the final year, I told my parents that I don't want to continue as a medical professional, I don't want to continue as a doctor, and I believe that gave them a heart attack. Because my elder sister is an engineer, and I being a doctor, it was like a very ideal kind of a situation for them. And when I declared that I'm not going to continue as a doctor, it was like, I don't know what they must have felt. So that's when I decided that I should be going into business, and then I joined the formal coaching, and to my surprise, there were not all doctors in the batch. There were only engineers who were actually trying to get into MBA. So I probably was one of the few hundreds who plunged from medical profession to business, and then I completed my MBA, then joined the corporate, and then again I told my parents that, see, this is not working for me. Corporate life is not working for me. So I think probably they must have had a second heart attack then. So but then I had to do something. So I told Rolly that this life is not going. I cannot take orders from people and do something that my mind doesn't understand. It's a very difficult proposition for me, because if someone tells you to do something and you don't agree with it, it becomes difficult to follow if you don't have that mindset. So that's when where I quit. And the day I quit, I think I didn't know what should I be doing with my life. I sat for almost 6 months at home, asking Roly what should I be doing. So that's when she said she'll also be quitting because, and secretly she quit, and for the first 2 years I think we didn't tell our parents that we actually have a startup. So we kept it hidden from them because, yeah, it's a very weird kind of a story. So, and all of a sudden my sister found me on LinkedIn that I'm running a company. And then suddenly one fine
I
day.
tell you, this social media is.
Yeah. And then suddenly all of a sudden there's a board meeting happening at my home as to why I kept it hidden and why is it that we are doing it. And after a lot of explanation and a lot of things, we finally could convince our parents that this is what we want to do. And doing it since the last 8 years and doing it pretty well. I became a BW 40 under 40. I wanted to become 40 under 30, but unfortunately I ended up being a 40 under 40. But that's a good achievement that I have had this year. So lovely interacting with you all. So let me start with the first round of questions. You started early, you started late. So this must have posed a lot of different kind of challenges for you all. So what exactly were the challenges and how did you overcome them?
I think, so I took the route via the media industry, entertainment and media industry into entrepreneurship. And for me, the biggest challenge, while the skill has diminished, but I continue to face sometimes, is unconscious bias. And I'm trying to break the glass ceiling where a woman from the media or entertainment industry cannot become a successful entrepreneur. So when I started my first company, I was pretty sure that I'm going to continue this journey, and today I'm in my third company after 2 successful exits. And I honestly believe that this entire journey has been probably 2x times more difficult, because rather than just the entrepreneurial challenges, I also had to every time prove myself with the substance that I bring to the table. And if you all are aware, there are 16 kinds of biases that a human mind experiences, and I think beauty bias exists very, very big in our industry, especially corporate industry. And I'm actually writing a book on ramp to boardroom, and I hope that that will encourage a lot of young entrepreneurs that it doesn't matter which industry you come from, it doesn't matter what your experience, you can put your mind to it. And this would be the biggest challenge that you would face in our society, both personally and professionally. But if you handle how to navigate the unconscious bias, which I'm sure each one of the women here has experience in some form or the other, I think sky's the limit for especially women entrepreneurs. So that's what I'm going to keep it short and simple.
Working at the age of 18, and I always excelled at my jobs. It's just that the mind was never at ease or at rest, because I always felt that I want to do something of my own. Also, like you mentioned, I did not feel like reporting into anybody, and there's nothing wrong in that, but I just felt that there should be something of my own. I need to manage a team, I need to lead people, I need to break the communication bias, the coordination bias that we face as women leaders, women bosses, where in my corporate sector I was climbing the ladder, but that dissatisfaction always remained. And when I became an entrepreneur, which is really late, like you all know now, it just got worse, because the first question that would come to me was, you're already settled, you're already doing so well in life, you come from a privileged background.
be at home, look after your child, एक ही बच्चा है, उसका ध्यान रखो. So these were my, daily struggles to convince people that no, there is a lot of value add that I can give to your business. I started freelancing with brands. I started upscaling their small businesses. Even before the pandemic, the need to come online had become really big. So I started, putting small-scale businesses online, setting up their processes in place. But again, the whole, thing would boil down to, oh, would you be able to give long hours to our business? And I'm like, do you give long hours to your business? Do you take a break at least once a week? Yeah, I do. So I said that should be the same applicable to me as well. And don't worry, I'll take my break on a Monday. I'll work for you on a Saturday, Sunday, which is where I come back to the support system that the family can give you. So there are a lot of biases that I faced, but actually every time I would just come back more resilient and stronger. And it was just that whole, the thought in me, the fire in me, and Shah really rightly pointed out, if your fire in you doesn't die out, then the biases also will not sustain, they cannot carry on. So for me, the day-to-day challenges like, can you manage your child, who will look after him? And I'm so proud to say today that my 12-and-a-half-year-old is so independent. Right from the age of 5, he would be absolutely fine, even if he had to come back home and, insert the keys into the lock because my husband travels for work. I used to be out for meetings. He was independent. His food would be on the table. He would heat it up. So those biases were actually my strengths in a way, because I was like, nobody cares at home. Everybody's like, he now tells me, you can stay out. I'll manage things on my own, So these were the challenges that I faced. But at the end of the day, I think I wouldn't call them challenges or biases. I would just call them my strengths to keep pushing forward, because being an entrepreneur at 40, I was dealing with my own struggles as well of getting older, it's more and more difficult. I was also a lifestyle creator. I am a lifestyle creator, so I had shoots lined up for the day. I would come back in the evenings, do the client work, put their processes in place, interact with their meetings, so on and so forth. So yeah, that's it.
So I think one of the reasons why I would say that there was a huge bias in my life as well, because I was carrying a lot of baggage being his daughter. So I had to first prove that I'm not dumb and nothing is given to me on the plate, and that was probably the thing that gave me the strength to say, boss, I'm going to prove you all wrong. That's how I probably started. When I was 13 and I was put in that environment, it was a very male-dominated environment. A photo printing lab doesn't have women. And only people I saw in the entire day for probably an hour were people who were on the customer counter, right? Like just selling to the customers walking in and out. And once I remember, asking my father that, when do you think these guys are going to take me seriously? Because I really thought they weren't. And it hurt me, and probably sometimes, damaged the way I felt as well. So, he only told me one thing, that, the day you're better than them and you're better at understanding what they do is when they're going to take you seriously. So, right from order entry to billing to printing to actually going into a dark room and printing manual prints is what I learned. And I think the day that happened is the day they took me seriously. So that was probably my first learning in the entrepreneurial journey. When you're actually a leader, you can't say I understand everything unless you really do. So very important. Secondly, I think for all those people who started their journey as an entrepreneur, people I think matter a lot. One of my biggest learnings as an entrepreneur is that if you know how to deal with people, you can actually cross any bridge of challenges that you may come across. My second challenge was, again, Flame, you're 21 and you're talking to PhDs, you're having teams of IIM sitting in front of you, and they're talking stuff that honestly made no sense to me beyond a point. Because I was almost the age of the students, and I was probably talking on behalf of them. That guys, y'all are making no sense, you know. But I think the nicest part was that the day they said that, you know what, so I actually went through the back door. So I made friends with the students. So I became the faculty's powerhouse when they wanted to know Tapman care. So that's how I started playing. And I remember, and I always share this story, even with my students, that you know power is where the people are. And my father had very beautifully put this to me on a very beautiful rainy day at Plain. So there was this long corridor, and it had rained a lot. And my office was here, and Indra Parekh, the dean, the president, her office was opposite, and Praxa's office was right next to Indra ma'am's. And I remember Indra ma'am, so Papa came and he was like, "What is going on?" So I was like, "Nothing." So he's like, "Just come here and observe this entire corridor." And what he saw was Indra ma'am's room had probably a couple of people who had gone in. Praxa's room also had a couple of, in fact, a lot of people who had gone in. मेरे रूम में कीचड़ था. So, you know, he just told me, "Pooja, you're doing a great job." And I think that's where I realized that if I had, so it's about playing power in politics and having those dynamics in place and having the right set of people back you. And I think if that challenge is overcome, you can really prove your mark. That's when people take you seriously. So for me, that was my challenge, that I wanted to be taken seriously, not just as Raksha's daughter, but someone who knew what she was doing. And getting that validation for me from this book means a lot. And also Bhaviji and Meenal for having that beautifully hosted event in Bombay Stock Exchange for Millennium Devas for awarding all the women entrepreneurs that you all did. I want to share something that I haven't, and publicly saying all this is going to be a lot of fun. I got an email stating that you've been nominated as the top 3, so please come. So I was like, okay, so I am there, and I told my mom, I told my husband that this email has come through, so we should go to Mumbai. And they were very excited, and we all 3 went to Mumbai, and this event was taking place. And what happened is there were lot of awards before the entire event. So my mom is like, "Are you sure you're getting an award?" I was like, "Yeah, I did. I mean, I actually went through and the email said, yes, of course." And Bhavesh had recognized me, so I was like, "हाँ, मिलने वाला है, कुछ तो मिलने वाला है." And the amazing part was that my mom put it this way, that in Filmfare Awards, when the last award happens, it's like the climax of the entire award ceremony. And I was awarded as the Women Entrepreneur of 2022. And my mom and Joy, who's here, the way they were so excited that okay, she won. And the weirdest part was somebody was a runner-up, and my mom's like, "Oh, Pooja won." I'm like, "Mama, please be a little quiet." So Bhaveshi, that was the back-end story of winning that award. So why I stated all this was that Rui and Shruti are here, and one, I'm very proud of you to join this program. Like everyone put it, nobody is joining entrepreneurship programs from, and I must congratulate your parents as well. I know you both have done a ruckus at home to be here, but point being that you will create your identity and you will be loved and you will be admired, but make sure people take you seriously, right? So that's something I wanted to share with each one of you.
So bias breaks
vitamin M. That's my mantra. So yes, not at all supported as I begin my career. After my marriage, my mother-in-law absolutely no. What would you do? You need to give birth to a baby and you need to sit back cooking dishes. So that was not what I was cut up for, and it was a very big challenge. A lady is supposed to only sit back home, take care of her husband, take care of her food, of her husband, of her mother-in-law. I had to attend my class at 8 a.m. in the morning. So I woke up at 4 a.m., saw to it that my food for my husband, for my mother-in-law was ready, and yes, I went to my class. As I said, I did my course, and my sir employed me, and then I paid for my fees. Okay. After that, I started up with a wonderful career. Of course, I was very small. Yes, in my class, I was the only girl, and there were 14 boys. So there were 14 boys, and I was the only girl there. And as an interior designer, the queen of my small city. Again, being a small city, ladki bahar jayegi. I mean, I wasn't even allowed to wear trousers at that time. So I like to बाहर जाएगी, सलवार सूट पहन के जाएगी, साइड में दुपट्टा नहीं पहनेगी, ओढ़ के जाएगी. So that was all the bias that I did face, but I did fight. Big time I did fight. And finally one fine day I was gifted with my baby boy. This is not my responsibility. So I had to take him back at work. I was teaching at a big college at that time, so I used to take him down there. And commendable to Roshni, who is my friend, she came down. Yes, she's there with her daughter. So yeah, that's how a woman's journey is. Yeah, fought all biases. And as I said, when vitamin M began to flow, I erased all the biases, I erased all the barriers. So yeah, look into building that vitamin M. So that's what it was.
I come from private sector, so back there are like government job, well settled, okay, life over. So coming from that kind of family, like she was living for almost for 2-3 years, 2 years her parents came to know. I think around 4 years later, my parents came to know. Our board meetings were very successful. Family board meetings, my board meetings failed miserably, but I still kept on fighting. I think I got for 10 years. Finally in 2020, I left them because they were like, "We have a family, we can छोटे आ सकते हैं ना." Now what will you do in a startup? They're thinking about a startup is like it's something that you do as a side thing and it's not a main profession because I don't know what there must be some genetic problem or something. So I finally left. Thanks to Moji, she gave me home, food, shelter, roti kapda makan. And I've received commendable support from MIDAS, career, and so when I received the news that I have to go to the front, first one back in 2021, so I had recently left in 2020. And, as a film story, they were hunting for me. I'm going to various police station, filing meeting complaint, and so I called and asked Bhavesh, are they there in the guest list? And he's so sweet, he checked the entire guest list out of 1,100 and he told me no. And then we decided to actually go to Mumbai and attend the event, and I asked him, do you have security at Meena and Bhavesh have made me feel like a family, and they have been very supportive. Hari and so highly entertainer. And so the pros of entrepreneurship is that you get a family, you find a family, and you do the family. So the cons are there, the pros are there, the biases are there, and we fight them.
Thank you everyone. Wonderful stories you have had. A lot of biases, a lot of challenges, and the way you have overcome it is commendable. So you all decided to pen down your story for this book, Each Against the Odds, and it's the most unadulterated book that I have seen on entrepreneurship till date, because most of the authors would put out their biases around women, despite not knowing what women go through actually during their entrepreneurship journey. And the stories have been kept intact. The way it has been put into the book is like the way it has been spoken by the women themselves. So why did you decide to pen down your story? Because none of you have had, I mean, not so cool journeys, I would say. So, and going through it again would have been painful. So why did you decide to pen it down?
Thank you. I think you actually said the magic word unadulterated. That was the first thought that came to my mind when I was approached to write the story. And incidentally, I was at my lowest point at that point in time because I was really struggling to figure out whether this would work or not. And it was just a year, people struggle much longer. But again, like I said, because I'm so distracted most of the time, so I'm like, nahi hua, nahi hua. And then when I was approached to write it, I think motivation comes to you at the time when you need it the most, when you're at your lowest. And that is something which inspired me to pen my journey because I knew I had achieved a lot. And I like to celebrate all sorts of victories, big or small. I'm a practicing Buddhist for the last 10 years. So it is inherently taught into me to celebrate life, to celebrate being you every single day. That's the only way you can pass it on into your environment. And my environment at that point in time was not looking good. So that is something which inspired me to pen my journey, and also the fact that it was not going to be sugar coated. If I admit today that I came from a privileged background and probably I did not realize the value of it, but it's never too late. Starting out late does not mean you're not starting out. You wouldn't know if you did not try it, right? So that is the reason that I decided to go ahead with it, and I have to thank Bhavesh for it because initially I did not take it seriously. I'm like, this would be another mail where they would like 1 lakh de do, feature kar denge. I'm like 1 lakh hote to koi tension hi nahi tha na side mein. So that was something which I was really touched. I did not think, I still feel that I'm sitting amongst really inspiring and influential women, and my story is small. But I also know for a fact that having worked with so many brands, so many people, agencies, there's always a need to put your story out. You do not know who is getting inspired when. And that is why take me as your case study. Don't start out late. Start out as early as possible. You're in a beautiful institute. You have so much wherewithal, bandwidth to support your dreams, support your passion. So please, make the best use out of it. And for me, I'm ever so grateful. I think this is testimony, this is validation that I did the right thing by penning my story down. Thank you. So, being a bodhisattva myself, I guess I attracted this book to me, yes. So I always had my story and I always said, मैं एक दिन एकता कपूर को दूंगी एकता कपूर लिखेगी उसको इतना टीआरपी मिलेगा क्योंकि उसको सिर्फ आंसुओं के अलावा कुछ नहीं मिलेगा तो I am a very jolly person but yes so I attracted this book to me and being featured is a great privilege and yeah that's
So me wanting to pen the story down, or what inspired me to do this, was the fact that for 4 years, this is actually the 4th year where we had 2 students who were girls, but literally for 3 years before that, full batches of, we have a capacity of 28 students, we had 1 girl in every batch, which was very disturbing. And I think when you're able to sort of pen it down there and think about probably one of these, girl entrepreneurs getting inspired or coming to the institute or starting their entrepreneurial journey was purely the reason why I wanted to do this. And I think, very rightly put that you don't know who's going to be inspired where. And I don't know if my story is inspirational, but it did make me go through a lot of memories, like you said. I was in fact even thinking, should I put this, should I not put this? Should I be even thinking about this? Because, I went through this journey of writing it and I edited a lot of things, Hariji, before even sending it to Bhaviji, because he was like, Pooja, the deadline is there, you better send it. I was like, yeah, so there was a lot of editing happening, I think, subconsciously for me. And I did try to be as candid as possible. And like you said, most unadulterated form of saying that, you know what, if I can, you can too. So that was probably what made me pen this story down.
I've been inspiring, impacting, and influencing for 3 decades now. And I think PR and media gave me that opportunity at a very young age when we weren't living in a digitized generation. Today, of course, you have the power of digital media. For Eves Against the Odds, the entire credit to write my story goes to a common friend that Bhavesh and I have, that is Narayan. He's a market leader himself. And Narayan and I, we worked on many projects together, and he said, listen, I really want you to send your story. And I said, are you sure? He said, yeah, just share your story. You deserve to be there. I said, okay, fine. So when finally I got the link, and it was a very comprehensive form, if I remember. And I called Narayan. I'm like, itna likhna padega. I said, people write for me, I don't write for myself, do likh de. So he's like, listen, just write it. And then I wrote my story, and I sent Bhavesh the first draft. And I remember Bhavesh calling me, and he said, do you want to make any changes? Do you want to edit? And I said, no, it's my story. It's unedited. This is what I want to put forward. And it all worked out, and I'm very blessed that you chose my story, because I know Narayan told me that you guys had so many applications. But for you to choose me to be there amongst the 25 women who deserve to share their story. So it was quite a journey, and the entire credit to inspire me to write is Narayan's. So we'll have to give it to him.
I had just left home in 2020 when his mails were popping up in the inbox that please share your journey, please share your journey. And the last 10 years was like the family was hammering my head that you're not worth it, the journey is not good. So I think it was a kind of validation, and it prompted me to submit my story. And the day you shared the email that your story is selected for the first volume, I cried my heart out that how can someone like my journey so much that it can be put in a book, when I've been listening that you are waste or a garbage kind of a person. So that was a very big validation and motivation which I needed at that time, and I received that.
So Bhavesh and Hariharan are doing a lot to promote this book. So how is this, basically this book penning down your story now helping you? So women founders require a lot of motivation and a lot of other things apart from funding. So what exactly is it helping you, and how exactly is it helping you in your business?
So first and foremost, like I said, rightly would be funding, but other than that, it's your mental positive state of mind which is really highlighted when you see validation, when you see yourself being featured anywhere. I'm also a digital creator, so the power of influence is something which I have to do with that role as well. And definitely having yourself featured in a book which talks about your inspiring journey along with other women definitely adds to credibility, visibility for my personal work and also for my bootstrap startup. It's not easy, but any kind of recognition is always welcome. And I still maintain that more for the outside world, it's for the inner self-confidence, inner morale also. So this, again, I would be really thankful to Avesh and to Hariharan, because this opportunity, like Divya rightly said, there were so many applicants. So I feel privileged, I feel cherished today that somebody has thought that my story is important, and somewhere it is going to inspire people, but it has taken me back to making sure of my decision and to come back more stronger and
make this a success for myself. Thank you. I don't know where Bhavesh and Hariharan found me first. I really don't know. So thank you for finding me. And at a time, the pandemic was on. So we were somewhere as in losing hope, because as you know, a company that you have to run, we did let all our employees go at that point of time. We did shut our office, and working from home, our industry is absolutely word of mouth. So you move in word of mouth, word of mouth, word of mouth, and at that point of time, nobody even wanted to plunge into designing their homes. So this was very motivating, and when actually at that point of time, when actually I was looking down upon, I mean, let me start with something else, because interior design is not going to give me my, bread and butter as of now. So at that point of time, should I start catering? Should I start doing this? Should I start, plunging into opening up a little store? And when this book came up to me, I said, no, I am me. I am an interior designer. Keep that faith. I mean, it is a dark cloud today, and I mean, it will move off again. So I must thank Millennium Givers to, bring me back that hope in me. I do not know in terms of PR what it is doing to me, but yes, it is a badge of pride to me. Yes, so thank you again.
I think it's always an honor to be having your story written in a book. It's only going to do us good. So there's no way we can put it out in words as to how it's going to help us. But definitely, I think the first challenge that I said, people take you more seriously when you're a teacher. People don't take you lightly, and these are things I think the society needs. For us to be out there and sort of say we've arrived and we're not willing to leave. So it does sort of embark you on a journey of self-belief, a perseverance. That I'm not going to give up, and that's what this particular story did to me. One, going back to the journey that I've been through, and then actually seeing a hard copy of being published, having a picture there, and you're reading your own story. It felt amazing, and it's just contributing more and more to how I am going to I feel inspired to impact more. I think that's what it's actually worth.
Other than acting as an enabler for myself, I'm still looking forward to how I can leverage this. So I'll be very honest. So let's see how I can take mileage out of this.
Book is more than a vision. When I met Hariharan and Bhavesh, they told me that they want to create a community and impact across the world. They want to launch like 50 volumes and all. So I can see that being from the volume one, I can see that community is being built up. Those effects are created. They have given us the tag of ease. So when you connect with someone, I'm also, you are also. That kind of effect, and in terms of business, I would say, that it has given the trust that I know you, you are in need, let's do business together. So that's something that we are finding in the last 1.5 years.
Okay, so one final question from my side, and then we can take one or two questions from the audience. So one story other than
I think we should just open it up for the audience.
one story other than yours, of course, that has inspired you from the phrase another woman as well. Also, almost a question that did we read the entire book or just our own story? But no, thankfully I love reading, so I just read everybody's stories. I would have to say it's Divya, not because she's sitting here, but I have known her in a personal space as well. We are also connected to the army background, but her humility and her passion for everything good and positive is what has always inspired me. We haven't met in all these years, but whenever I have met her, there's just so much positivity she exudes. I did not even know of all her accolades, which is why I bring the humility point
point across that she is a friend. She is that warm smile that will come the minute the room lights up when you see her, and that is something which has always.
I want to be your best friend.
No. Another story would be Tanushri Ishani. She owns a homegrown skincare brand, and because of my profession, I love the way she has molded her brand and taken it up to different levels, because entrepreneurs are everywhere. Even a home baker or a home chef is an entrepreneur in their own right. But to leverage it and to still stick to your beliefs, because she's been using Ayurveda as her backbone for the business, that was something which inspired me. And like you rightly said, it is a way of cross-connecting. So I know that there is somebody who I can cross-collaborate with for my work as well, and we can leverage it together. So yeah, kudos to the book and kudos to all of them.
We are running a quiz on, do you know what which page number your story is?
No,
Very bad.
So I have read the volume 2 today, and I'm in awe of the volume 2 women too. I have not read the volume 2, so I really do not know volume 2. But yes, from volume 1, Papi Ben, the Suidaga clan. Yes. So it's really inspiring what she has done in her life, and with absolutely having nothing and coming to this stage. Yes, great applause to her too. And yes. Don't ask me my page number. I read it 1 year back.
I've always admired Pooja. I was here about 4.5 years back as a chief guest at their pitch fest, and that was the time when I had the privilege of meeting Paratsa and Pooja. And as a woman entrepreneur, and I do leadership profiling as a leadership consultant, I think she sees the respect in my eyes. Other than her story, I've had the privilege of working with Dr. Tarita Shankar at the Indra Group of Institutions. I work with her closely. I continue to work with Chetan, who's the group director. That's the only education institution that I work for because my bandwidth is a little limited. But her story, I think, has been very eventful, I'll put it that way, Tarita's story. But there are definitely many key takeaways and open to interpretation. So that's inspiring.
Page number?
She can't be limited to page number.
Yours.
Mine?
You too. That goes to you as well, right?
So in one of the most unbiased ways, and again this is becoming like, you praise me, I praise you. But that's okay, that's what we do. But I was very inspired with Divya, your story. Yes, and I tell you why I related most to that story was because she comes, as a person, because I knew her, but that time she was like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. That was my response 4.5 years back. But when you read that story, you realize there has so much more to it. And what was the relatable part was, she is the pioneer of getting event management to this country as a subject, as a program. And running these PG post-graduation programs for students, degree programs, and she went to multiple UGC universities to actually, get this going. And I think that's where I felt like, wow, there's something I really, really want to sit down and talk to her and know more about what she did at that point of time. Because, guys, entrepreneurship still is a subject that's not out there. And I think what you did that time, I'm sure people didn't know what you were talking about either.
No, and I didn't have funds. So I did it in a smaller way, but after that you had a lot of big institutions come in.
Yes.
But four universities rejected me because it was a vocational career.
Yes.
But then, and one not so very famous university, Singhania University of Rajasthan, they don't really come up very high in the UGC list. They agreed. But I gifted careers, and a lot of my bachas today in event companies are sitting at the helm of leadership. And it is not an appraisal-based industry. They're running their companies, they're doing well, and they are, enjoying the achievements.
So relatable part is that she did something which was new to this country, and when in 2013 we did MIDAS, people didn't know how to pronounce entrepreneurship. So that was the biggest challenge. Like, business to karna hai. Papa ke saath hum, we sit on the cash counter and we learn business. That's the perspective people have. And so getting it here, it's been a challenge. I wouldn't call it an amazing challenge because I do not see that it was amazing. But I think Divya, thank you for making me realize that it's okay to have a similar journey. It can be tough, but you have to keep going. So thank you so much.
Most of the people there are our friends. They have come tell their life somewhere or the other about the journey from Bollywood. But I love the story of Chandni Khan the most from Boys of Dharma. She has been a rap figure, and from there she entered into entrepreneurship and impacted lives of thousands of children. I mean, that's commendable. I cannot even imagine what struggle she must have gone through and what journey it has been. And my page number is in 80s, and I know everyone my page because I've done the website.
You did your homework and no, she shared the questions with me.
We actually took out the sheet.
Order also because on the website, those orders, those images, I can.
Okay, on which page number does Rohitri's name feature?
Around 80.
Around me. Great.
Thank you, ladies. So we can take one or two questions from the audience.
Yes.
Good morning. Good morning. I would like to ask each one of you that what are the three most important habits to be a successful entrepreneur?
Three means this is 80.
I can one each.
I can tell you one. Don't form any habits.
Wow.
That's available for your clients, but like for any time, like you can take the leave when you think that you can manage it, but just service whenever they want. That's the epitome of success for any brand.
I think self-discipline, because if you're not focused, if you don't have the discipline in you, you cannot bring it out in your business also. So for me, it has to be self-discipline. For a small example, I'm very distracted most of the time, but I don't remember for the last many years, even on a Saturday, Sunday, I end up waking at 5, 5:30, 6, latest 6:30. And my entire family is like, what the hell do you do in the morning? Okay, then you start taking everybody else. Let's go do something. So nothing better than self-discipline. If you have that in your life, and these habits stay with you for a long time, and for late time entrepreneurs like me, they help me to do this.
For me, it would be never set a boundary, never say no. You always can exceed what you excel in, and you can still excel better. So never set a boundary, always go beyond your expectations. Thank you.
Time management. Bhavesh asked me to come in by 10:45. I was here 10:40. That's your life skill, habits. You need it.
I think habit for me, priorities. I'm very, I cannot have any confusion with my priorities. So I think something that I've tried to pass on to you as well. And like she said, time management and your priorities have to be a habit that cannot leave you ever. You have to know what your primary circle is, what your secondary circle is, what your tertiary circle is, where is your work in this entire dynamics. And if you know yourself and you know your priorities, nothing can stop you. And this habit is very important. So I think that would be something I would always do.
Shruti, you want to
No, it's fine. So I wanted to ask, what
gives you the strength to fight the odds, like maybe family, public, or anyone? Like you have to fight. So what is the strength that gives you to fight everything?
A lot of times in interviews they ask me, what is success to you? Honestly, I define success as having lived every minute of my life meaningfully. So if you ask me to make a cup of tea for you, I'll be 200% committed to making a cup of tea, and I'll make sure it comes out well. In the psychiatrist world, well, it's called OCPD, so I'm a clinically diagnosed OCPD. And my psychiatrist said, oh, you know what? If you take a medicine, you're going to be better in your relationships and personal life. And I said, what's going to happen to my professional life? So I made that sacrifice. I continue to live with OCPD, but I make sure that I'm committed in every minute to what I'm doing to have the accomplishment within first of being successful.
So again, something that I've shared with you guys, you have to be like this person, like if you're standing and you fall, where will you get up? You get up one step ahead, right? So you will never get up 2 steps behind. And I think failure is your biggest teacher. Never get scared of it. It will only teach you to stand up harder and do better things for yourself and your loved ones. Never ever be scared of a challenge. I know it's very easy to say, but trust me, we're human. So if we had our entire ECG report removed like this and it's straight, you were dead. But if it goes up, you go down, you go up, you go down, that means you're living your life. So never fear your challenges.
To me, to fight my odds, the first motivation was vitamin M. I guess everybody understands that as of now. But later in life, to fight my odds and to make my journey powerful was my son. As I mentioned, he was visually challenged, and that's what motivated me to work harder so that today he can see the world and brighter and more, sparkling than it is for everybody else. Yes, so that was the reason for me to fight my own.
I'm a practicing Buddhist, so for me it's always faith over fear. There is no way that life is not going to hurdle challenges at you or difficult situations at you. So how you come back stronger, how you get out of it is something that keeps me going. I have severe anxiety issues, like my husband says that पूरी दुनिया का बोझ तुम्हारे सर पे नहीं हो सकता. Let some things be the way they are, but I am just like that as a person. But every time I pick myself up, it's faith over fear for me. I know things will fall in place, everything will get better, but your heart has to be in the right place, and you cannot ever suck up.
Life gives you strength. If it gives you problems, it gives you an equal strength to fight it. Otherwise, why will you have those problems in the first place? You're there to live, right? No one is born to die. You get solution. Some way you get the solution.
Complete practical work she's doing.
So basically, I think it's the result of being estranged for 2 years. You become like that because you are more practical when you don't have anyone to preach you, basically. So thank you, audience. Thank you for being a very wonderful audience. Congratulations to all the teams. Thanks, Bhavesh and Hariyaran, for bringing out this book and putting in efforts to bring these females to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have a big round of applause for please stay for a while. Yeah, we are getting close to the big moment when we will be launching the book, unveiling the book. Just a couple of things I want to share on the return note. Payal, life begins at 40, so you're only 2 years old. Okay? So, yeah. marriage started late, and finally, sir, I found a great husband in India.
You are not married young?
Yeah, because most women complain to us, we are not able to do business because of our husbands. And today I found a woman is saying, it's because of my husband I'm doing the business. I said, wow.
मैं काम करवा रहा हूँ.
If we are at that, I think I have an amazing husband and he's super motivated.
So I have discovered two. No, you have a very supporting wife.
Let's not make it about the husbands, it's about the leaves.
It's about the leaves. It's about it. No, it was my way of ensuring finally women clap for the men.
So in that case, you have to clap for my dad.
I'm a father of a daughter, and everybody in my family knows that I'm a Betiwat. So, so it's such an inspiration to see fathers support daughters. Absolutely, I mean, we must do that. It's duty and it's beautiful. It's both. Yeah, and of course you have to support sons also. So it's not that, but I'm just saying. So for people who are fathers or daughters, they have the sense of extra privilege. You know, it's self-given, and we enjoy that self-given privilege. Yeah. So thank you, ladies, for what was an absolutely inspiring panel discussion. And now we could discover that why it's called teams against the odds. So, you know, and somebody asked me yesterday, what is the criteria for selection? So one is they should have fought odds, of course. And secondly, some amount of longevity in the business. So you've tried, failed. That's a great takeaway, Pooja. That when you fall down, you get up 2 steps ahead. I think it's a fantastic way of sharing about the power of failure. You know, and so one was a little bit of longevity, looking at the odds, and some odds are common. When you read the preface of the book, we felt so inspired writing the introduction for volume 2, and this is what we have written. That it's about, and like you said, Divya, I think that it's about can we inspire one more person through our story, you know, and we have 50 such stories. So one sentence, one story can change your life, you know, and you don't know on which page that one sentence or that one story lies. And another big takeaway, and I'm really moved by this, I didn't know that the stories have come at a point of time in your life when it mattered so much to you. We really had no idea about that. You know, we were just going about our job in a very business-like manner. But to actually for you to tell us, I mean, you would have told us on the phone also. And you would have known it much better, much before. A bigger platform. Yeah. You're sitting next to Divya, she knows a thing or two about the big stage. You know, how to leverage the big stage. And on the leverage part, how you ladies can leverage the book, that's what we are going to speak about in our fireside chat. Yeah. Before we move on, I still wanted to stay here. I would now invite Bhavesh Kothari to please felicitate Sir first, and then we felicitate the panel also. Sir, if I would just request you to come. Sir, if I can request you to be with us, and we request you to now felicitate all of our panel members and all these beautiful women. Yes, absolutely.
That would be the most prestigious moment.
Yeah. So we start with Pooja. Dr. Divya Jetli. So Maitri, she's a different doctor. Yeah, she's a PhD doctor. Shrida Raheja, please. Shankar. Holy Pandey. Maitri Goswami. What an amazing moderation.
We got to name her Porky Pandey.
What name?
Porky Pandey.
Okay, so Bhavesh, are we now ready for?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm ready. So ladies, you also stay. Sir, we continue to trouble you for 2 more minutes. And you be with us. Now, I think it would be very appropriate, Pooja, if you could have the 2 ladies who are your students here to also join us.
Come.
Yeah, everybody will.
Come. Come ahead.
Yes. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. So this is our volume 2, and now we can just bring volume 1 to the front.
The volume 2 is bigger.
Yeah, volume 2 is bigger. Why did you notice that? Yeah, so the publishers have upgraded the paper quality. Thank you, ladies.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we flying?
Yes, we are flying.
Awesome. So, Pooja, we are going to come back. Deliver your address.
Ma'am.
And after that, we will the fire check. Yes, please settle down. Can I have a round of applause for Pooja Shah, please?
So I know everyone's really hungry, so I'm going to keep it very crisp. MIDAS School of Entrepreneurship, as I very proudly, being the managing director, would like to introduce you to. MIDAS started in 2013 with a dream to create 10,000 entrepreneurs. With the blessings and encouragement from Professor Parag Shah, who is the founding chairman of Flame University and also the chief mentor at MIDAS. The entire concept of experiential learning is very different in this country. Nobody really does it, even if they say it. Me being someone who was not very good at academics, was on a mission that I'm going to try and make education fun, and my father totally supports that. In fact, he will always come up with the craziest of the ideas in the room. And I think that's what MIDAS stands for. We believe that, in fact, this institute has no textbooks that we refer to. All our coaches that come and teach here are entrepreneurs, they have business backgrounds. Because we cannot imagine somebody from a textbook teaching entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship itself is an experience. And everybody in their own right has done exceptionally well. All our coaches have done exceptionally well in their forte of industry that they cater to. We have a complete coach autonomy, wherein any coach who comes to MIDAS is definitely going to make and create his own model. And he is not forced that ye cover karna hai. We tell them that this is conceptually what we want, and now you tell us what you are going to do with it. If you interact with our students today as well, they've been here for 1.5 months now, and every part of their learning journey has been tried to be fun, but at the same time, learning can be fun is what we've been focusing on. Challenging the Indian education system, which says do not ask the question why. There's a teacher, there are students. We totally challenge that. So any student who is not asking a why is actually pulled up constantly. That why don't you have the curiosity to ask questions? And the most pissed off who gets pissed off on this is my father again, because he's like, how can you be not interested in asking questions? And I think that's precisely what we have been trying to question, that in India everybody wants fishes to climb trees, and that doesn't happen. Every child is unique, every student is unique, and they need to be taken care of like that. I stay on campus, so does Rapsal, and we live like a family. They become our kids, and the other day I was just a little upset with them, and I said, boss, I am your proxy parent right now, so you better behave yourself. And I think that's the love and belief that we have in what we are doing here at MIDAS. I am very passionate about this place, and I think one of the questions that I probably did not complete is that my inspiration comes from my students. And I think every morning getting up and coming down, what excites me is looking at these lovely faces. Because you'll always remain young if you have an education institute. You'll never become old, which is very fun. Finally, we thrive on two very important aspects of MIDAS is the Guru Shishya ethos, wherein it's not about we standing here and our students sitting there, but we learning from each other and respecting and admiring each other. And I think that's where this place becomes or exuberates a lot of love and a lot of good vibes. And anything that's toxic, trust me, MIDAS अपने आप से उसको बाहर फेंक देता है. Is what I have observed in the last 9 years here. That anything that's sort of trying to change the culture here has not stayed. And I think that's what made the foundation so strong, and something that I have learned so much from my father, that culture and what you stand for, your values cannot change. And I think I will not accept it no matter what, and that's what I think takes the legacy and the longevity of any institute further if you have a cultural standing. And I will not change this. My values will be this. And I think that's where the Guru Shishya ethos comes in. And the second is humility. I think right from our security guard to the chief mentor, everybody needs to be respected. My Maushis, I will know them by name. I will know what part of their body is paining, or if they are not well or they have an issue. To anybody who is working at the program office, or my students are expected to do that. So one line that we repeatedly say, we are, you all are not our consumers and we are not your service providers. We are your teachers, and everybody who is a part of this institute must realize that we are here to learn, we are here to grow, and we are here to impact. So if you want to be a part of this dream, then join it. Or don't try and change how we're thinking as well, because we love what we do. And I think the entire concept of MIDAS is based on passion that do what you love. And I think each one of you today that spoke about your odds and your journey today speaks about the fact that you were very passionate about what you were doing. So to all my students, they are all standing examples here that they did what they were passionate about. So ma'am, sorry, but don't go behind the money. I think money will follow. But I'm sure you did it because you chose to be an architect because you loved it. And that's where the money follows. And I think for each one of you, when you're passionate and you have that belief, never give up on that dream. Because someday the world will really hit you by surprise. And they will admire what you're doing. And it's just a matter of time. I really know that MIDAS has miles to go, but I really want to request each one of you that in any small way, if you could put in a good word for us, and please be a part of our journey. Come anytime, spend time with the students, help me impact them in your own way. And let's do something beautiful together is what I would end my small presentation, not a presentation, but something that I really speak from the heart when it comes to MIDAS. I love this place, I live for this place, and that's why I am able to always be so emotionally attached to whatever I do over here. So thank you, dear students, for being my inspiration. Thank you, Papa, for giving me this opportunity to have a beautiful institute like MIDAS. And thank you, Bhaveshji, Meenal, and Hariji for believing in MIDAS, believing in me, and giving me this opportunity once again. I'm very humbled. Thank you so much.
Somebody had asked me a question some time back. Should you be emotional when you're doing business? So I said the only reason I do business is because I'm very emotional. So and it so much resonates. I could recollect this because of the emotion with which you spoke. And it's all about making a difference. It's all about starting with the why. It's all about having the mission before the commission, as we used to tell insurance agency. So when I was to train insurance agents, or when I train insurance agents. So beautiful. So before we go to the last segment, which is not tea and snacks, you still have to hear the authors speak. But the books are now available for sale at a discounted rate of 200 rupees per copy. I would request all the students are already entrepreneurs. You must be part of your own family organizations. Do pick up a copy and we'll be happy to sign it for you. Yeah. So we go to the next segment now, which is a fireside chat with the authors. So once again, I welcome Pooja back, and so she'll be moderating this discussion. And just to set a little context in terms of the dream that Bhavesh and me carry, and which is something I would like to discuss with you and sir. as to how we could make it happen. We want to create an academy for training women entrepreneurs. That's a dream we have been carrying for the last 2 years. We're trying to make it happen. I think maybe this is the place where it could happen. So that's something we definitely want to discuss. Yeah. So finally, I get a chance to be that son.
So a very big round of applause for these amazing people who supported our team. And I think बहुत दुआएं लगेगी आप दोनों को, from us, right from the heart. So I would start by asking you what inspired to actually, inspired you guys to do something, write a book on inspiring stories.
I have always been a corporate trainer, motivational speaker, corporate trainer. I did not have much exposure to the startup ecosystem or even to SMEs. I did not have a lot of exposure to entrepreneurship in terms of what others were doing. So I happened to meet Bhavesh through a common friend, and I happened to attend one of their startup summits. And I was listening to a lot of ladies there, and one of them was Revati Roy, on whom a book is, I think a movie is also being made now. And I just came up with this suggestion. And I felt so inspired listening to their stories that I came up with this suggestion that why don't we compile a book which has stories of women entrepreneurs. How they fought against the odds, what are the challenges that they went through. Because we all know that everybody talks about which male entrepreneur is doing well, successful, whether he's in what kind of list, Fortune 500, Forbes, what is his market capitalization, what is his income, so on and so forth. But there are so many silent women entrepreneurs who are going about, even male, a lot of silent male entrepreneurs are doing a great job. But we thought it's an opportunity for us to highlight the work of women entrepreneurs. So the thought was sown about, I think, 5 years ago. And then we started work on it. It did not take off for some reason. Then the pandemic came. And then finally in 2020, this man pushed me hard and said, Hari, let's make it happen now. And then we started work on the project, and it's so wonderful that in just a year, we have been able to cover 50 women entrepreneurs and come up with the second volume, and a thicker one this time. and the thicker one does not mean these stories are more powerful. It doesn't mean that. Maybe we accepted more words this time. And also, I think the publisher has upgraded their quality. And I always say that without the women in the volume 1, the future volumes would not have come out. So they set the tone and the base for us. So every story is very inspiring. And for us, it's a very selfish purpose because we get to read so many inspiring stories. And it's incredible, the kind of the journeys people have had. So that's how this book was born.
I think, you know what, one thing that stayed with me, fortunately I've been having a lot of mentors in my life, and I still continue to have that, I think. And I've been a very, very strong advocate of mentoring. While this entire journey of mine from corporate guy to entrepreneurship, approximately, I quit my job when I was 11 years ago, 2011 is what I remember. And somewhere that giving back to the society has been a very, very big philosophy that I live with, and contributing back to the community. And that's what MIDAS today as a business forms. And when we were discussing about this book, one thing was very clear, that we want to make it first add value, because then the valuation will follow. That's the statement that I firmly believe in. And then we went through a lot of rigmarole of understanding how do we put this together. It was really a very, very hard struggle. I think we fell down, we woke up, we got up, we started running, we again fell down, academic hit. One thing was very clear that we कैसे भी करेंगे, कुछ भी हो जाए, we want to do it. And then the name search came. And one fine day we are like, discussing over WhatsApp chat, and suddenly we are throwing names. I think we also put it on our WhatsApp group that we have for women entrepreneurs. A lot of ideas came in. And suddenly we were thinking, why is it that it's not getting connected? And I think one thing, is what we believe is that when your purpose is very clear, when your motives are very clear, right, I think the universe comes to you and supports you in all. So there were three things which were very clear. One, it has to be very impactful. Secondly, it should be unadulterated. I think, thank you so much for adding that word. I've been searching for that word. How do I put this in the right context? I think today you gave us that context. Because a lot of things that we do are absolutely unadulterated. For example, the awards. We made sure that it is process driven and not just because you pay money and then you get it, right? And I come from that background. I understand how things work. I come from the media background. I understand how things work. That was the first motivation. The second motivation was, can we give back to the society? How do we, as she said, can we impact one life? Right? That is what I have been living with. That is what Hari has been living with. The third most important aspect was, we thought of one book at that time, and today we are talking about 10 volumes and moving global. I think somewhere that drive came from the volume 1 and volume 2. That stories that we read, and trust me, 250, 300 stories, reading through it, going through it, selecting the most. At times it pained our heart that maybe we'll have to let go of few very good ones. But again, the stories are not in the order of 1 to 25. They are in the order of 1, 1, 1, 1. It's just that you have to print it back to back. So a lot of people ask us, मेरा story 25 or 15 बार क्यों डाला है? I said, no, it's not 15. It is one in line, but you can't put everything in one page. Right? So it is people who are featured on the 15th story. It's not 15, it's one. These are all 50 stories, not 50th story or 49th story. To be very clear on that space. The third thing was very, very important, and last thing was, you will not get money. Because the moment you get money to get featured, which means you are actually getting publicized yourself. It's a PR. I would rather, I was talking to someone and we were discussing about it. I was just calculating. If you're spending 1 lakh rupee for your PR, maybe it can be 1 month or 1 year, right? If you buy a book from us at a very discounted price, trust me, you don't make money out of it. And we were very conscious when we discussed saying that, do we want to charge people? I said, we don't want to. It's a brand that we want to create. It's an impact that we want to create. So I was calculating. In fact, I just calculated 667 books is equal to 1 lakh rupees. Imagine you buy those and go out and talk to 667 customers. Imagine you spend 1 lakh rupee very effectively and you can get 100x return out of that. We both spend money, we carry at least 2-3 books in our bags when we go meet up. And we buy it. It's not that we are authors, we get free copies. There's now no free meals. There are no free lunches in this world. We buy those books, we read those books because it is something that we believe that has helped us today where we are. So I think, long story short, it's a dream, and today it's a reality. We dreamt it 5 years ago, and we are glad that there are 50 army backing 2 people who have a vision to create more impact in this world.
So if I can just add on the leverage part, because that thing came up during the discussion. Though the 1 lakh rupees is quite attractive actually, but we don't want it. We don't want it. So because that's not the purpose. Please buy, all the ladies who are covered in all the books, in both the books so far. Please buy 50 to 100 copies. And trust me, we don't make anything out of it. You get it at a discounted rate, you get an author discount. And gift it to all your clients. Make noise everywhere in the world that you have been featured in a book. You know, and let your clients know that you are dealing with somebody who is not just another person who's hanging around and asking for work. My work is getting recognized, it's a validation, and this is not a book only, it's a platform. You know, it's Eves Against the Odds is a platform. So if you're creating a platform, leverage that platform. Go make a noise that you can read my story on this page number in this volume and go and gift it. But for that you need to order at least 50 to 100 copies, right? Now if you sit and I don't know how they will treat me after I say this, but if you're going to think that who will spend money on buying 100 copies, but as we give this mathematics, just compare it with a 1 lakh rupee PR. Somebody called me in the morning and said you should do some media publicity for the work that you're doing. That might incur a little cost, but that's not a little cost. When you are incurring media publicity, you have to pay them quite a bit of money, and we don't want to do that. Quite honestly, I don't want to pay money and say that please feature me on this page, on page 3, page 1, page 2. We don't want to do that. Let the recognition come on its own. Just enjoy the job. It's beautiful. I'm telling you, we are having a wonderful time since yesterday. It's wonderful to connect with people. I'll tell you where our vision is, where it is taking us. So money, everybody is interested. We are also interested in the money. But we are not looking at it coming today. Bhavesh and we were discussing that maybe after the 5th volume we will really start making money. But we need to sustain, we need to be resilient till then. Okay, that is point number 1. Second is, it's the dream that we are working for. Global editions, the brand of EATO, building up, and it's all happening by the grace of God. Things are moving. And the other thing is the academy. We want women entrepreneurs to be cultivated, and we want them to be nurtured, and we want them to be taught separately, trained separately, not that they should not sit with men and learn. So that is one part, but I'm saying there is an opportunity also simultaneously to work on a vertical where we can purely focus on only mentoring and training women entrepreneurs, purely from a perspective that that's an opportunity for us to give that focus to that, to that set of people. And there are many women entrepreneurs, and we all know that as women entrepreneurs, you have unique challenges. What a male entrepreneur faces is different as compared to a woman's challenge. We all know that. So those can be addressed, and we can create and inspire more young women to become entrepreneurs. Many homemakers who have been housewives maybe for 15, 20 years, but now they have an aspiration, and they have children are grown up, and they can kind of manage their time for themselves. Very important that they find a purpose for themselves. They can be made into, they can be inspired to become entrepreneurs. All it takes is some amount of training. All it takes is some amount of encouragement. And all it takes is some amount of support. And I think that's where the Eves Entrepreneurship Excellence Academy, which we have already unveiled, EQ, but we need to roll out the first batch. We have failed a couple of times in trying to do that, but that's okay. We will try again, and I think that's where now you will see Bhavesh and me talking to each one of you, and asking for your support. How we could together create that academy. It can be a virtual academy, it can be a combination of virtual workshops, it can be city-based workshops. Why not gather 10, 15 women and do a small course? It doesn't have to be a long drawn-out course. We created a concept called as a bridge program. It's a 2-day workshop where they learn about mission, vision, values, some basic aspects of entrepreneurship. Then if they want more, then you create larger courses for people as they go along. But let's take that baby step, and I really want each one of you to be partners in this. And faculty would be from amongst the women who have been featured in the book. Besides both of us doing our 2 bits, talking our 2 bits, but we will bring in the faculty from amongst you. Because who better than you to tell people how to go about setting up their business. I think that's where we are headed for, and that's the vision that we have.
So I just wanted to share thoughts that were coming to my mind, and I'm sure you all experienced this as well. That when you first saw your book and you opened it, it's like almost a cathartic experience in your life, right? Because, like he said, that you're not just somebody when you're featured, and that's where I think it's enormous brand building and personal brand building when you're featured in a book that has purely speaking about that you've actually fought the odds and you've reached, right? And I think that's amazing. And secondly, this whole aspect of it's so bad out there that every award, everything that you want is paid for, and we all know we paid nothing to sort of be selected or be honored to be featured in the book. In fact, I remember when I got the award as well, my dad was like, did they ask for money? And I was like, you please don't ask me this question again. So, it's like that. That's how badly the entire media industry is working. And I really, really appreciate what you people are doing. And kudos to, the vision and the clarity with which you guys have set up this entire, I wouldn't call it a business, but definitely giving back so much.
Absolutely.
Right? So what has been the most, fun part of doing this? You talked about the odds, you talked about all the failures or the tough part. What was fun?
I think doing this comparing is great fun. Because then I also get some spotlight. And something interesting happened yesterday. One lady, she said, you speak so well, and I have not seen many authors speak very well. So I said, yeah, generally authors, first of all, I put up the great humility show and said, thank you very much. But you don't know how glad I was from your side. Yeah? And I told her that actually many authors are not very good speakers. You generally see there are many authors who they write very well, they don't speak well. But I became an author after I became a speaker. So in that sense, it's helped me. I think the fun part has been just bringing it out. It's actually a book. I've written 9 books so far. It's very painful. Getting it published is very painful because you are reading your own manuscript 4 or 5 times.